Hello and welcome back to the Sam Beast YouTube channel. My name is David Foxen and we are still ploughing on with our Amdb dataset series. Now today we are going to be looking at the key datasets that you need for your Amdb in relation to servers and storage devices. So let's go. Let's get into it then. Servers and storage devices. What Amdb datasets, core Amdb datasets, are we looking for here? Now, again, very similar stuff to the desktops and the laptops and the mobiles and the tablets. First of all, we are looking for the manufacturer, who made it, and the model information. What model is it that we've purchased? Basic stuff, same thing pretty much for all asset types. Next up, we're looking for the unique identifier, which is the serial number, and our internal unique identifier, which is the asset tag. Again, very similar. We could probably skip a lot of these ones, but we won't. We'll go through them anyway. Next up, we're looking for the asset or the machine name. Now, this is an interesting one for servers because you may call a server, I don't know, DF001, which is a specific server for a specific application. You may have a unique naming convention within your organization for servers. And if you do, please put that in there into your asset management database so that you can track that so you know exactly which one that you are looking for. Next up, servers are one of the most important configuration items within a CMDB. So make sure that you are putting that CI information from your CMDB into your asset management database so that you can share data between the asset and the CI and the CI and the asset. And again, it's another really useful unique identifier, unless you've got a bit of a messy CMDB where you've got duplicate CIs, dare I say it. I hope you haven't, but if you have, just be aware of that and make sure that you're verifying that the right CI is coming through to the right asset. Next up, we are looking for location information. So what server room is the server in? Where even in the server room is it? What rack is it in? What location is it in? You know, some of this information may be overkill for you, but it's really useful to have in there if you know you're that mature and you have all of your server inventory sorted. There are actually some really cool tools out there that you can integrate with your Amdb that actually show you where your server is or your storage device is within a data center or within a rack, etc. So if you've got those kind of capabilities, integrate them with the Amdb, get that information in there. More information, the better, really. We're also looking for the server owner, so who can ITAM contact in the event that we have any questions about the server, or if there's an incident or a problem or a change related to it, who is that key point of contact? I've seen some people have a team, and that's okay, but it doesn't narrow it down. If you're just sending an email to a shared mailbox needing an urgent reply, it doesn't always work. So I prefer to have a proper single person as a server owner, or a storage device owner, and then in the event that they're off, have a backup as well, so who I could contact, you know, if I needed it, and the main server storage owner is not in that day. Next up, we're looking for that procurement information again, so the price, the purchase date, the cost center that purchased the server from, you know, who's actually owning it, who are we going to align the depreciation values against. We're then looking at the invoice reference as well, or maybe even a PO reference, depending on which one you log and you track. We're also then looking at the state and substate. Is this server still in use? If it is in use, is it, you know, available to be used? Is it pending repairs? Is it in stock? Your typical standard statuses and substates that you would have created as part of your Amdb configuration when you set it up and got it going. Or you may have even done your own reconciliation work, and we've got a video in the future on what the states and substates you should have within your Amdb. A server's in stock, what stock room is it in, and what kind of availability, is it ready to go, is it pending disposal? Again, with the less important really actually than mobiles and tablets and desktops and laptops, you don't necessarily need to know, you know, all the granular detail on whether it's pending repairs, whether it's pending disposal, because it's not something a user's going to take to work from home in the event that there's another lockdown or another pandemic or whatever. But it is useful to have that information there so you know potentially what's ready for disposal or IT asset disposition. We are looking for the last scan date, when it was last online. Again, really useful for ITAM to be proactive and go out and say, whoa, server or storage owner, look, Your asset hasn't been online for 30 plus days. What's going on? Do we not need it anymore? Have we migrated to the cloud, etc.? Really useful information, and also updated by as well is another cool. This is more of an optional one, to be honest. If you've got multiple inventory sources plugging in server and storage data into your Amdb, it's always useful to know what source of information updated that asset, so that you can point back to say, look, Sunbird, for example, has identified that the asset is no longer in use. SCCM has as well. Where is the server? Where is the storage device? Why is it not being used? Is it ready for retirement, or, like I said, has it been moved to the cloud? Looking for the internal organisation scheduled retirement date, the warranty expiry date, which we've mentioned so many times before, but you can use this from the purchase date. Depending on what the warranty information is within the manufacturer. For servers, it's normally like a 5 or a 7 year warranty, typically, for the big boys anyway, at least. So make sure that you do from purchase date plus 5 years or plus 7 years. We're also then looking at things like the vendor end of life date. Again, if it's a brand new server model, they may not have this already. But again, tools like Lenovo and HP have integrations in with their portals, so you can actually extract that information and put it into your Amdb automatically. Or you can do some Googling or contact your account manager to understand when that server reaches the vendor end of life and vendor end of support as well, and even extended support, so that you know that, whoa, we really need to either move this to the cloud or get a new piece of tin within that kind of time frame. Because out of support physical server can be a big problemo within an organization. So ITAM can be proactive in supporting your infrastructure or your Wintel or your server and storage teams in that respect, which is fantastic. We mentioned about the extended warranty information. Yeah, absolutely, put that information there as well. If you are going to be running it lean, it's past the end of life, but you've taken out an extended warranty, put that information in there too. We are then moving on to the end of life bits, your typical standard retired date, disposal date. Again, different when you retired it and decommissioned it internally for servers and storage stuff compared to disposal dates. So there is going to be maybe a few weeks or a few days different. Disposal date is when it's been physically taken off site via your third-party disposal company or ITAD provider. We're also looking at the depreciation values. Now, this is an interesting one, because typically when looking at depreciation values for the servers, because they're not something that typically goes walkies or gets stolen or goes missing, and it's not typically something that ITAM can claim as a cost avoidance if you're reclaiming it. This is more of an FYI really for like your fixed asset register teams or your finance teams who also depreciate like your large scale physical assets, not just IT are physical assets, but like buildings and other stuff like that. So from an ITAM point of view, yeah, it's useful to have to see the remaining value of something, but for servers and storage devices, because you can't really reclaim them as you would a laptop or a mobile phone or whatever, it doesn't have the same kind of gravitas, for example, as the depreciation value for a laptop or a mobile phone. But really important to have it in there anyway. Of course, as well, I mentioned beforehand about the warranty the warranty date. Your depreciation method as well is typically going to be a straight line 5 year, typically for servers. Again, this depends on your organization's depreciation methods anyway. And finally, towards the end of the life of the asset, we're then looking obviously for the IT asset disposition or disposal references. If you are doing ITAD, then we also need the rebate back from the server or storage device and any data destruction references used by like a tool like Blanco that your third party has provided you with. If you're not doing that, then we just need the disposal reference and the data destruction references. So again, that we can tile of that off to show that we're managing the end of our server and storage devices' lives. And also this is another auditable field for internal and external audit. Now, interesting one, and something that we're seeing a lot more of actually come into an Amdb. They are custom fields, but that's energy efficiency ratings and kilowatts per hour ratings to support green IT. I do not know why I did that. I wipe those from your memory. Green IT is a very real thing, and I'm really interested in finding synergies between ITAM and supporting organisations with green IT, but I digress. Having the kilowatts per hour in there is another really useful bit of information if you are really focused on green IT. Servers take up, they typically took up a lot of power. And if you're migrating that physical server into the cloud, this is a great reference and data field that you can show to show the benefits from a green IT and energy efficiency perspective. Some tools, again, can get this information. If you've got a dedicated Wintel infrastructure, storage, servers, technology out there already. They may already have that data that you can then just use an API to plug into your Amdb. Otherwise, it's going to have to be a custom field with some manual updates in there to show the energy efficiency ratings. You can do this by bulk imports, so you're not doing it one by one. It will take some time, but this will also help your ITAM maturity and also help ITAM prove even more value to the organization than it already is. So something definitely worth thinking about. And the energy efficiency ratings as well, you can typically Google those and you can see whether it's an A+, a B, a C, a D, whatever it may be, and adding that information in when you're doing the same kind of bulk import as the kilowatts per hour. Completely optional. But for me, it just shows the next level of how ITAM can support and engage with an organisation and also support that overall ethos and mentality of green IT. And just, it puts ITAM at the seat of the table. Come on, give us even more reason to be in those strategic decisions. So that is servers and storage devices. Now we are nearly there. Our next video is all about network assets and the key data sets you need for your Amdb, for your network assets. So hope you found this useful. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please like and subscribe. And if I've missed anything out, let me know in the comments or let me know on LinkedIn. And otherwise, we will see you next time here at the Sam Beast YouTube channel.